Hello and good morning. Welcome to Abuja. This is Signature Morning, but first let us thank our colleagues from the Enugu Center for making this rather cool morning in Abuja a little warm for us. Interesting conversation. Charles, thank you as always. I'm Waboz Njoko, and this is coming to you from our Abuja studios. Well, we are in interesting times, are we not? Just yesterday, the president made a very interesting conversation, a very interesting remark. We're going to begin this program this morning with that remark. We'll also try to interrogate the bill before the House of Representatives being sponsored by the Speaker of the House of Representatives himself, Tajuddin Abbas, to conscript Nigerians into voting. If you don't vote, you go to jail, he says, in that bill. We will also interrogate that bill. But for now, let me allow us meet our friends for this morning. Let me start from my right. The former chairman. Now I'm going to introduce him at two levels. One time chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association Buhari branch here in the Federal Capital Territory, and the immediate past vice president of the Nigerian Bar Association nationwide, and that is Ugo Chukwuemeka Clement. Ugo, welcome to the conversation this morning.
Very much pleasure to see you again.
Well, I'm in between two lawyers, so I think I'll be educated this morning. My second guest is Ugo Agugam. Ugo Agugam is also a lawyer. Ugo, you're welcome to this program this morning.
Thank you so much.
It rained yesterday in Abuja,
yes,
and I think the weather is rather cool.
Yeah, sure.
Very well.
Well,
the weather is Clement.
Clement. In fact, the weather is you.
Yes, me.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's Clement, so the weather is him.
The weather is Clement.
Now, Ugo. Okay, this is Ugo and Ugo. How do I handle it?
Clement.
Okay, let me start with Clement. Now, Clement, I just said that the president made an interesting remark yesterday, telling Nigerians that nothing is wrong with a one-party state in a constitutional democracy. I'm interested in what the president has qualified, how he qualified it, in a constitutional democracy. Nigeria is a constitutional democracy,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes.
What is the president saying? Is he going to subvert the current constitution or cause it to be amended? Or, in fact, am I illiterate? Does the current constitution provide for multipartism or a single party state? So let us understand the president.
Yeah. Thank you very much for these wonderful insights. Actually, what the Mr. President have just done is trying to bring up to speed of the Section 39 of 1999 Constitution, which is freedom of expression. Okay. He has just aired his views. It could be his personal views, but it cannot sync along with the kind of the psyche of average or all Nigerians. In Section 40, which is the neighbor of 39, is purely freedom. Section 40 deals with right for assembly and belonging and association and all that. So that is very clear that the Constitution have equally given us room for persons to have a war coming together and fraternizing with friends and colleagues in forming another political party. In fact, Constitution used the word that you may belong to any party of your choice.
Now, by that word, any party, the Constitution therefore presumes that there be more than one party.
That is the key thing. You know, in a normal and civilized clime, these are all impeachable offenses. Not only being impeachable, these are offenses that definitely by now there should be a mass condemnation about some of that and coming from the first citizen of the country. But I still believe, which I have already through my intro, I said he is expressing his personal opinion.
Yeah, but you go. The president's personal opinion is weighty, very weighty, not when there has been a national conversation accusing the president of pushing the country into a one-party state, and not when the chairman of APC himself, Ganduje, had also spoken along the same line. There was nothing wrong with a one-party state.
Yes, I agree with you, Clement. It might be his personal opinion, as my learned said. But then, his personal opinion of a president cannot be laid aside. Because you find out, even in the country, and even outside the country, when the president says something, you see every institution around him trying to make that, whatever he says,
real.
They try to make it manifest. They try to make it have weight. Because in actual fact, when he says it, it's a proclamation. Yes, we're in a democratic setting, but we cannot overside whatever he says. And then when we also begin to weigh it alongside the position of the head of political party that brought the president in, you now know that they are only saying what they have really concocted inside. They are just trying to weigh the situation, how it's going to be accepted by
It's no longer kite flying.
Yes, it's no longer. And then when you also look at what is going on in the nation presently, see the wave of defection from one party to the ruling party and all of that, you now know that they have set the motion going to achieve that end of one party system. But the fact remains that is it constitutional? The answer is no. My friend has cited section 40, which is clear to that. Because if you look at the words used in legislation and you know how the mindset of those who made the law, if it says can belong, form or belong to any particular, means that
there must be more multiplicity.
Yes, political parties. So you have to change this to achieve that aim, which we also know is not right for us. It's not right. It's not right. We can't even, in fact, even those who are using a single party system are trying to go to where people are giving choice, because your choice may not be mine, your interest may not be mine. Even Constitution says that to protect interest, there's no way your interest will be mine. Your interest might be to have all you all around Nigeria. My interest might be to enhance our economic system and all of it. So I will look for political party that will protect my interest, and then go for it and see how we can get them to power.
Yeah, but it appears that this political conscription might I'm not saying that the president is using soldiers to push us into one party, but this recruitment into one party. On the same occasion that the president at the State House yesterday, where the president talked about this nothing being wrong with having a one-party state, he also told us that many more governors were going to defect to the APC. Already 22 governors have endorsed him as the sole candidate for the 2027 election. When the president was going to present the 2025 budget, right in the hallowed chambers of the National Assembly, legislators rose and were singing, on your mandate we stand. And in the course of the conversation, the president called them members of the 11th National Assembly. And he explained himself that they were automatically re-elected. Now, this herd movement into one vision, I don't want to call it yet one part, into one vision. Is it healthy for a democracy? Because in a democracy, there should be choice of vision. There should be alternative vision.
Definitely.
There should be competition of vision. Are we heading to China? Are we heading to China?
Some past leaders have tried this. they never succeeded. Nigeria is a very wonderful country. We may be docile, we may be a little bit slow, but I bet you no one in Nigeria will succeed in trying to make Nigeria and pocket Nigeria to himself or herself. Nigerians will definitely rise. We have educated people. We have people who can stand to the test of whatever they think there will be. There will be a great movement. People of conscience, people of good minds definitely will arise. And not only that, one of the good things that is keeping this country to this level is that God loves this country. And those who have planned evil against this country have not succeeded. There's always a time where God will come in. And there will be a time this particular God will come in to salvage his people because he loved this particular country. I might be sounding spiritual.
Yeah, not yet.
But I am saying, while that particular spiritual realm is working, definitely Nigerians
themselves,
the Democrats amongst us, would definitely rise to defend this country.
Well, we're not heading to China, except that as my learned gentlemen in the studio are talking, some legislators think differently. If my producer will just show me a little bit of that effort by the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives to recruit more of us into this single mandate before we face the main issue for this Friday.
We are evangelists of APC, evangelists of the New Hope agenda, evangelists of the New Hope party. And why we have come here today is not only to visit you. I brought you the good news of President Bola Ahmed.
Well, the politicians, including the president and the chairman of APC, they want all of us to stand on one party, and they say there's nothing wrong with that. The time will tell. That is what my two gentlemen in the studio are telling me. That Nigeria is resilient enough, and people of various interests will insist on protecting their interests. Obasanjo attempted it a third term. As I said here about last week, it collapsed in his face. I was going to ask Ugo Chukwuemeka if we have moved into one party state, we might as well be heading towards a life presidency. And if we get into the life presidency, how old would Tinubu be? Will he be able to attend the United Nations? I don't think that requires a legal answer. I don't want to lead you into temptation. That's what the Bible says. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, there is a bill in the House of Representatives being sponsored by the Speaker himself. If my producer will show us the title of that bill so that we take that title the way the Speaker has formulated it. It is called an act to amend the Electoral Act to make it mandatory for Nigerians of maturity to vote in every national or state elections and matters, other related matters. This bill is being sponsored by the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Again, the Electoral Act. The way the Electoral Act is now, it does not prescribe any punishment, whether you vote or you don't vote. But this new bill, being sponsored by Tajuddin Abbas, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, is seeking to punish you for not voting in any of those elections, either national elections or state elections. If you don't vote, you are liable to be fined, as the bill is proposing, 100,000 naira, or you go to jail for 6 months, or both. Ugo, have you heard this before?
Yeah, I heard it like every other Nigerian. Then, when sometimes when you hear something like this, the first thing that comes to your mind, are we sure it's not social media hype, as we usually see? Then, you now see them confirming that, and the next that comes to your mind, did I actually change this thing correctly? And when you look at the kind of person that proposed this bill, the speaker himself, he raises questions of some concern of the kind of persons we vote into offices. Serious concern, because you now begin to think, is it that he didn't change very well, or he doesn't have aids, legal aids, those who probably were addressing with respect to the constitution, because the first thing they are sworn to protect
is the Constitution.
Now, when you want to propose a bill, the first thing that should come to your mind naturally is like, what did the Constitution say about this? Is it contravening any section of the Constitution? If it does, first is to go back and amend the Constitution, because every law must align with the Constitution. Because the Constitution is what we say is a ground norm. In other words, every law must stand on it. So if he contravenes this, you go back. So now he gave reasons. There are three major reasons he gave. Reason to call vote buying, then electoral apathy, voter apathy, and then voter inducement to call it. Every Nigerian should be concerned, including myself. We're all concerned about voter apathy. We know that people are not interested. People seem not to be interested. But making a law that contravenes the Constitution, does it now give a true reason to make such? The answer is no. You begin to address what are these issues. Is it to make criminalize voting, non-voting, or to begin to find a way to curb these things that you know are the reasons why people are not coming out? When we are talking about people coming out, let us not close our minds to what happened last general election, like 2023. In some areas, I voted, my voting booth was is still in Abu State too. I left my place of residence. I saw people were helping others to get their voting booths and all of that. You saw that people were interested to vote because of candidate that was brought out. Candidate, most people like, oh, maybe things are going to change. And also people had the impression that we were going to have a free and fair election. Then all of that happened, and then I know also some places where people stayed all through the night to see the votes count. People are interested. So if we are now like saying, oh, we are not interested, we are not going to vote, find out why. Votes must count. People must be encouraged. Insecurity. These are things that make people not want to vote. These are people that in general and voter apathy. Take care of all those things. You don't need to make laws to say, oh, if you don't vote, you'll be killed, you go to jail, you pay 100,000. This law will not succeed. If made into law, the bill will not succeed. If it's law, it will not succeed. In fact, people will observe it in disobedience. Then what are you going to be left with? Chaos. That is what the only thing you'll be left with, because you can't compare both to. Yes, it's a civil responsibility. Chapter 2 of the Constitution says that we have the responsibility to participate in the electoral system, voting and all. It's a civic responsibility. But that's also something we cannot enforce. The Constitution did not anticipate where people will be coerced into going to compare to go and vote. It's a choice. So if you are going to make these laws, we are going to also break so many other laws, constitutions, and Section 39(1), you also break that of 40, Section 40. If you, I don't know if you have time to look at it.
Please, we do.
Okay, Section 39 says, Section 39(1) says, every person shall be entitled to freedom of expression, including freedom to hold opinions and to receive and impart ideas and information without interference. Now, the key was there, freedom to hold opinion. It's my freedom to hold opinion whether I should vote Clement to be my president. It's my right to hold opinion whether I should vote Chief Njoku to be my president or not. It's a freedom. Now, without interference, it also means that nobody should compel me, nobody should force me, nobody should it's my choice. I have to come out on that day to say, okay, this person I'm going to vote and all of that. So if they're going to take care of this voter apathy, they should go back and look at what has caused it in the first place. What I think that caused it. You see, we have witnessed what happened in Lagos and other parts of the country. We witnessed it. Where people were asked not to vote. And you didn't take care of those who asked people not to vote. You are not saying people must go and vote. That is contradictory. That means you are not trying to solve the problem. You should first of all take care of those who say, don't vote. If you come out on that day, this will happen or that will happen. We actually saw clear violence. There's this woman here, her picture circulated all through that period with wound and all that because she came to vote. And then nobody has done anything to take care of those who are stopping people from voting. You are saying people must go and vote if they don't vote. I don't know how this law will work. You should take the base first. You should take care of the need. You should take care of every law must have what it tends to solve.
Tajuddin Abbas says he's reeled out his reasons for proposing this bill to address voter apathy, to make it not just a matter of choice, but a matter of legal compulsion. And honestly speaking, I've been reflecting on why the Speaker would want to propose this bill. Clement, the Nigerian voter register is said to be a concoct, not a reality.
Yes.
And maybe the Speaker was being patriotic by saying, if every other method has failed in correcting that voter register, let me create compulsion so that every eligible voter goes to vote, and then we can experience the reality. Instead of a state produces 30 million one day, and when it is a candidate they don't like, that same state will produce only 5 million. Let us use force of law to clean this voters register. Do you think the Speaker was thinking along that line?
Well, let me just say that majority of our leaders travel outside these countries, visit a lot of countries. Sometimes what they want to borrow from some of these countries are not what will be of benefit to its citizens. I think they have gone to Venezuela. They went there, they found out that yes, in Argentina, this policy are in existence. In Australia, it has been in existence since 1924. In Brazil, it has been in existence. In Belgium, it has been in existence. In Singapore, it has been in existence. In Uruguay, it has been in existence. They have looked at these and they feel, but we have something that troubles us, absence of trust. You can see what they are doing. Where is the trust for Nigerians to just feel that they are telling us the truth? By trying to bring up this law, because first of all, let me adopt all that my learned colleague have just said, because he has dealt with the constitutional area, which is section 39 and all that. I'm trying to bring a little bit of morality into this, that they have gone to various countries. They have seen a lot of countries that these things are implementable, and they are implementing it, and it's working out for them. In Australia, you pay 20 Australian dollars if you do for not voting. In Brazil, same way, there are compliance. If you do in Singapore, in Peru, in Uruguay, all these countries, they are all implementing compliance and compulsion and all that. These are countries that their democracy are working. There are absolute trust. There are citizens' rights being protected. Citizens are being taken care of. There are good quality health care. There are accessibility of road, good water, electricity. These things are absent in Nigeria. In Abuja here, if you do not have, how much is petrol? You must have a diesel or you have a solar to help yourself at night. So we are looking at all that. We do not have trust for what they are saying. And I want to draw their ears that they should not only be implementing laws or trying to put up a particular bill. They should first of all go and erect as many as beautiful prisons, because I will be the first. I will be part of those that will be getting into that prison. I align completely with the president of Nigerian Bar Association in criticizing this, and that we are aware that we will lead a massive protest against this, and it will never hold waters in this country as long as NBA is concerned. And I am so happy that the president have led it and he has written about it, and some of us who are Democrats will definitely comply anytime he calls the bar out of this particular thing. And I want to let you know that they should go and build enough prisons. We have prisons that cannot contain those who are committing real crime. But currently, what we are saying here is that those who are committing beautiful crimes, the little prison that we have cannot accommodate them. Now we are looking at over 100 and more million Nigerians heading to jail. Where will we be? Definitely they may be using the National Assembly as part of an extension for the prison. We are waiting for that particular day when this bill will be passed, and I bet you Nigerians will resist it.
Now, Ugo, let me express a worry. Is there any punishment for an individual or an organization or an institution that willfully subverts and undermines the Constitution? Is there a punishment for that? What is the concept of treason? I ask this question following from the presentation both of you made, in that this very proposition tends to subvert the existing Constitution, tends to undermine the provisions of the Constitution. And when that document, when that terminal law is being subverted, what does it take to say this is treasonous or this is treasonable?
Yes, it is. There are punishments, but the only thing, we look at the way that punishment comes in. For those who are National Assembly, when they break the Constitution, the law only provides that such persons should be recalled. So to an extent, you could say, okay, that's punishment, okay, because you want to be a National Assembly to keep making laws, and then you, in the course of doing that, you now broke the basic law, which is the Constitution. You now make laws that contravene the Constitution. What the law says, you could be recalled. Then for the president who signs that law into effect,
if it does,
yes, if it does, eventually if it does, because we seem, both the executive and the legislature acting in cohort, they seem to be one and the same. If he ever signs that law, now it's a basis for impeachment. But the question,
those who ought to impeach him are singing on their mandate.
That is the problem we have. That's actually the problem we have in this nation presently. Where those who, there should be check and balances. That's why I have three arms of governance. Check and balance, and it's no longer there. We saw the video of your mandate shall stand. Now, are you telling me that this set of persons are those who now want to take steps to impeach the president they are standing on his mandate? The answer is no. So we really have a whole lot to do. And then that whole lot will have to be with civil society. One, we try to use other means to compel them to do the right thing. People are talking, we'll keep talking. Then if civil societies call for action, most of us will march to make sure that that thing cannot see the light of the day. Trying to put this bill, if they ever pass into law, they will see the level of massive protest they will never anticipate. Because let us face it, who are those who are going to suffer if this is made law? The masses. None of those so-called big men, nobody will go to arrest them because they didn't vote or didn't come out to vote. You see the masses. So what they should do is to go back and do the basic thing and then get it right. If this thing should end at this point of ever conceiving it, if they take steps to pass it into law and then it's signed by the president, then of course, knowing that the president cannot be impeached by those who, by the crop of legislators,
understanding legislators.
Yes, they can't. But they can be compelled. You don't take a people for granted. The revolution starts by things they are doing now. They feel, oh, nothing will happen. They can't do anything about it. They are docile and all those things. The nation's docility, you keep seeing things changing. Nobody knew what answers will get to.
Until you got to
that point where you compare government to now begin to make changes. So you don't start it. In Tunisia, you saw what happened that year. Don't push the people to the wall. And that is what is happening now. If they want people to come out to vote, good governance makes people to vote.
Definitely.
I will give you good instances now. When we saw that, a candidate is brought and this candidate will all have faith that is going to make changes, people will come out to want to vote him. In 2027, we'll see what will happen in Enugu and Abia states. I'm giving instance of these two states because I know the governors are forming. I'm not part of the party and all that, but you can see on ground what is going on. You see the number of persons that will come to vote because they want to come and sustain what they feel is good governance. Of course, those who will say, oh no, this is not our own, they have choice, should come and express their choice. They also come out. But you see that there will be more
vote endorsing that good work.
I want to endorse it. So these are the issues. You don't have to compare people to vote. Yes, there are countries, about 22 countries I know, that they're saying, they criminalize it. But if you want to take us back to it, also look at other laws in those countries. Just as in your intro, we thought about one-party system. You're taking us to China. If you want to take us to China very well. Take us to China where also corruption is punished by death. So that is it. So you don't go and pick and choose. Choose the one that is right and the one that you think will favor you, and then you want to implement it. This bill cannot stand. That is just the plain truth. Conclusively, can't stand. It cannot.
Okay, Clement, let us assume that this bill stands. Let us also assume that the president signs the bill. Can we be positive, anticipatory positivity?
Yes.
I've raised the matter of this bill being capable of forcing us now to know the number of registered voters in Nigeria. Because that voters register, the word I used was that it was a concord. Isn't there any silver lining whatsoever about this bill? Isn't there anything? Because you see, you've listed so many countries that have that compulsion legally.
Yes.
And I've said it's not provided for in our constitution the way it is.
Definitely.
I've also pushed us into saying, look, the severest of punishment for somebody who undermines the constitution, who seeks to subvert the democratic order by introducing something that undermines the constitution. And I asked, isn't this reasonable? And Ugo explained to me that they are coming by way of law and that's their job. And even the court said there can be good law, there can be bad law. So maybe this is either a good law or a bad law. Isn't there anything positive about forcing Nigerians to vote?
Well, I think, like my learned colleague have just said, I think is always very, very encouraging by the time you look at some resume or some character of persons that are vying for positions. Some Nigerians will definitely throw in their kind of weight and support in bringing up somebody that they have looked at that does not have any trace of corruption in voting such person in there. Then let us not forget again that there was a time that they, I think Abiola and the running mate, they were all Muslims.
Yeah, both of them.
Nigerians voted for them. That is that because those people have been seen within the environment, within the country. They have done exceedingly well, helping masses from their own personal personal resources, and we voted for them. I said trust is the key thing. Now, yes, there could be benefits going forward.
You don't seem to trust the system.
That is the system. Now, first of all, we have to look at the 3 countries I'm aware that introduced such but later abolished it. If you look at Chile, you now look at Cyprus, and you look at Venezuela.
They attempted it.
They did it, but they looked at it, they said, no. By the time we met all the citizens to vote, they started having void votes more than the time they were compulsory, ordinary people. They said, no, we cannot continue this way. We will definitely have to go back. That was around 2012 for Chile. They called it off. In 2017, Cyprus called off their own. In 1993, Venezuela called off theirs. And there are other countries, Bolivia, Ecuador, Luxembourg, and Thailand, and Turkey. They have this in place, but they say, my brother, we cannot enforce it. We have no powers to enforce this. And let us allow them, if they want to vote, let them vote. If they cannot. But they have that law, but they cannot enforce it.
That's even
so Nigeria bringing up such things.
I'm still with you.
Yeah, okay.
Because this is the line of argument I was coming to. Is it necessary to make a law that is not enforceable? On this program this year, I've raised the issue of Nigeria's ungoverned spaces, where government presence is not even known. Talk of people going there to vote. That when some communities in Borno State, some communities in Adamawa State, some upper communities in Taraba State, the last car they saw may be the car of the regional premier. And you are making a law to make it compulsory for those who don't know you, who only hear of you. In any case, how will you know who has voted and who has not voted? Will you come to my village in Mbise to know whether my mother, my grandmother, the woman who is going to her farm? It's the issue I'm raising it. Of what purpose is it for the National Assembly to make a law in vain? A law that is not enforceable.
Let me start by saying that some of these laws, they are aware that it is unenforceable, but sometimes they make some of these laws just for the purposes of going after those that they do not like, because it is completely impossible for you to implement it all around the country. So they look at some certain set of persons. The same way with this abuse of Naira. It is kind of a law that EFCC have just utilized to just target few people and calm them down to the extent they will now have to now dedicate and pledge that they will continue to project this kind of advertisement to the extent of using it to sing a song in promotion of non-abuse of Naira. I do not support that Naira should be abused, no doubt. No. But what we are saying is that there are persons, including government officials, people that are in power, going after their children, wedding and all that. People spray money in all these areas. But this EFCC closed their eyes. Some top persons in the riverines celebrated recently, spread us kind of money, but they cannot do anything. There are laws that are meant for some persons, and that is why we keep on saying Nigerians, the quality that the Constitution have just pronounced is completely absent. Persons are bigger than some persons.
Well, we are not going to animal farm situation where some animals are more equal than others. Ugo, is the House of Representatives creating a distraction? I just want you to think. Because can't you see we're allocating quality time, raising these issues, interrogating them, conversing on them. This is trending in the social media as we are talking live. It is on our station, on Channel 260. People are investing their time arguing this. It is an issue occupying national space and conversation. Are we just, in the House of Representatives, creating a distraction?
Yeah, the answer is yes. Absolute yes. In fact, they actually seem to have anything reasonable to do. That's why they are going to making this kind of law. And if you check every space now, that's what people are talking about. And nobody has come out to say, oh, we just need this law. People are concerned, including myself, the voter party. People are not coming to vote. Yes, no doubt about it. Do we need more persons to come and participate in the election?
Sure we do.
Sure we do. But what is the way forward? Is it to make this law that we all know is a kayak? Those who are doing it are already going back to say, oh, don't even need it. It's not helping matters. And that's why you are bringing out this. It's a misplaced priority. It's totally misplaced priority. If not, there are ways you can take care of it. Because in every law, then you look at factors of good and effective law. You look at those factors. First is relevance. Is this law relevant at this time? The answer is no. It's not even the time. It's no. Then is it clear enough? The answer is also no, because every law must be unambiguous. The session must be clear, and then have something it's targeting to solve. A problem is targeting to solve. What is it trying to solve? They told us is voter party, voter buying, and all those things. Vote buying. There are laws against vote buying. What have you done? Have you not gone? In all of this case, only one person the last professor that was convicted. Is he the only person who is found wanting in this kind of level? The answer is no. So you take care of all of that. Then another thing of factor of good and effective law is fairness. The most important one is enforceability. You must make law you can enforce. If you make law you cannot enforce, you begin to regret, make mess of those who made the law in the first place. Next time you want to make law, they will forget them. They are not. They don't even think about what they are doing. So if you want to maintain your integrity, you must also make laws that you'll be able to enforce. How are you going to enforce this law? My learned friend says that they should make more spaces for people who jump into the bed, into jail if this law comes into effect. They cannot implement it. What are you going to get? You come to your house, as you said, go meet your mother in the farm, and you said to come and that she didn't vote. They are making these laws. In fact, that's what the problem we will now have. They are making these laws to target, to have a waiting vehicle they will use in getting those they want to get. So if you did not vote, if they have been targeting a way to get you and you didn't vote, they will be sure that whether you are coming to vote or not, then somebody comes in and then gets you. If you want to solve voter apathy, start by punishing those who make it impossible for people to vote. We saw it where in Lagos and other areas, policemen were there watching them do all manner of things. And you are not concerned about those policemen, those who ought to stop it, watching it happen. You are saying that you want people to go and vote. You can't do that. Okay. You can't enforce this law.
Emeka, I want to come to you because my producer says I should devote the next 3 minutes to the conclusion part of this conversation. We are discussing this morning. So many other media houses are focusing on it. In the next how many days? 6 or so days, the president would have clocked 2 years in office. What attracts the voter and what determines his choice? What attracts the voter is either to endorse an existing government or to make a different choice. We are occupying time, we are using time to discuss a bill that is mere phantom, is of no consequence, and it's not enforceable. It undermines the Constitution, as you gentlemen have told me this morning. Yes. When we ought to be discussing the quality of governance we have had in the past 2 years, when we ought to be doing a scorecard, promises against delivered, promised deliverables against actually delivered, to then help the viewer, to help the electorate to make informed choice. Now, I just asked him, are we not, is the House of Representatives not creating a distraction
Very much.
from what we ought to be discussing now?
Very much distraction. Let me just tell you, first of all, like my learned colleague have just said, that some of these policies have to have relevance for you to look at it. And if you look at the rediscussion, as you rightly said, which is, you have to let me know what you have done so far to enable me come out that day. Because if you realize what happened at the last election, I have never bought water for people voting. I have to. People were thirsty because my house was closed. I have to go and get water, got chairs, got generator. Because there was passion that there could be a particular change and all that. But good and someone is there. And we ought to pray for him as admonished as a Christian to pray for all your leaders. I have the president picture in my sitting room. I pray for him every day. You need to show me what you have done for me to cast my vote again. I live, let me assume myself that I live in two areas. My origin is Imo State, and I reside in Abuja. Going from what I have seen in Abuja and how Abuja used to be,
And what it is now.
what it is now, I can vote for the president. But going to my own state, where when I was born as in primary school, I was privileged of drinking pipe-borne water from my state, Ngopala, Inumohi. Going to primary school, we fetch from the tap. Currently now, people come to my own house to queue for borehole to get water from my own our own house. In my family house. Regressive going down. So you can see, if I am in Imo State, I will not vote for the current president. But here I'm in Abuja here, because of the massive thing I am seeing the minister is doing, I will vote for the president based in Abuja. But if from the other end, I will not. People have all these things, and these things need to be replicated across board for us to have a holistic choice.
And people that have a basis to go to vote.
To go to vote, yes, definitely. There are issues, there are this thing. Currently now, you can drive the whole of Abuja without your headlamp on at night. It was during RFI. But all from RFI to date, before Wike took over. That is where we are enjoying dividends of the road. A lot of things have changed. Access road, creating access road, quality things coming up. We never knew that there are master plan of overhead bridges everywhere and other things are coming up. More things are opening up. I am not here to campaign for them, no doubt. But I am saying, as a Nigerian,
That's a basis.
there are bases
to make a choice.
You must, as a matter of fact, get things working. And they have about 2 years to make me and to convince me. Because if I must give them a voting,
I must have a basis.
yes, I will give the current leadership 28-30%. And it's a P. It's a little pass. Sometimes the government might not even employ you because you did not make a credit. So let us look at it from that angle. But within 2 years coming up, things might change. There might be downward on petrol. There might be downward in electricity might improve. Everybody they may jettison the band A things because I spent over 15,000. 5 days, 20,000 is gone.
Because you're band A.
I'm in band A. It is so touchy. How much are we benefiting? How much are we making? How much are we making? We need to really inform the leadership that where you are doing well, we will definitely praise you. But where you are not doing well, definitely we have to criticize you. And criticism is just constructive criticism is a part of the democracy. And we must be very, very free to listen to it and they consume and assimilate it without taking it too far that this person is trying to insult and all that. I pray for him, but let him do more.
Pray for him and let him do more. Ugo, I listened with honest passion and concentration to what my brother Clement just said. In other words, instead of creating compulsion, we can in fact get Nigerian people to go and vote. by creating a reason. Did you hear him? That the next election, going by what is happening in Abuja, where he lives, he will vote for this president. He has a basis. In other words, the president's performance in Abuja will force him out of his house to go and re-endorse him. That's the reason we leave his house. Why doesn't the politician concentrate on what will make us happily go out to vote, instead of thinking that they can railroad us legally by force of law to leave our homes?
Yes, I said this earlier.
Yes.
I said that
yes.
Good governance is one of the reasons why people participate in the electoral process. Good governance. I also gave instance of 2 states. I said because of the level of things that happen.
Abia and Enugu.
I said Abia and Enugu. I avoided Abuja because our minister is not elected with.
It's an appointee.
So my friend tried to narrow it down that okay here in Abuja.
Who is a representative of the president?
The president, which everyone that is here knows what is going on here in Abuja. If our minister is elected, we might say, okay, we are going to endorse him. Let him come
continue what he's doing.
What is the reason? Good governance. If you have good governance, people will participate naturally.
Happily too.
They want to come. I say we also what happened here in Abuja. At least let me explain where I am. My friend has said it had to provide water, electricity. That's replicated almost in all areas. I'm just saying almost everywhere. Because people were there sitting there, nobody was interested in going. They wanted to vote. Even when it was difficult, maybe logistics were a little bit not well taken care of, but people were waiting, patiently waiting, because they had in mind that there's somebody that is coming that might change things. So if you provide good governance, people will naturally participate. Naturally. So if you look at all of these laws, what is the way forward? Because we are saying that this law cannot work. This bill they are trying to make law, it cannot work. Yes, we are interested in people participating. How do we do that? Good governance. Then you look at also all those things that hinder people from participating.
Security.
Take it away. Security. Try to take them. Then also those who break the laws, those who made it impossible for people to vote, take care of them within the.
So that there's a consequence for undermining the process.
If you stop people if you prevent people from voting, this is what you are going to face. If you bring violence into voting area, this is what you are going to face. We've not seen it happen. We also what happened. We saw the video, the pictures, and all of that. People who got wounded, who were discouraged.
What happened to all those people?
What happened to those people?
So how will I go back to wage this time to get beheaded?
You can't tell me that you want to use law to railroad me into going to expose myself to violence. I won't accept it. I won't do that. I won't accept it.
Okay, Ugo. My producer says you've done 1 minute behind your schedule, and I just said to him, you took 1 minute of my time. Your last word, Clement.
My last word is, let me just be a prophet in this particular last word. This allegedly, or alleged, what's it called? Bill is indirect way. Let anybody mark it today. It's an indirect way to bring out anger in Nigeria so that there won't be anybody to vote and they will now manipulate and call results in the next election.
Well, this is not a happy ending. Hugo, this is not a happy ending. This kind of prophecy, does it encourage the voter? Well, my last word is always, ask no questions and be told no lies. Charles Dickens, my big friend, but I've asked questions, we have been given perspectives. I've enjoyed the last 1 hour, thoroughly enjoyed myself. We've been looking at the bill being sponsored by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Ajudin Abbas, seeking to make it compulsory for all Nigerians to vote, and if you don't vote, you either pay 100,000 naira fine or you go to jail. Or in fact, you can still go to jail and pay the 100,000 naira fine. The conclusion this morning is that that's a misplaced move, undermines the current order and the Constitution, cannot be justified when the Constitution says you have a choice to make, and it's not even enforceable So I raised the question whether this was a distraction, and a distraction from what? Maybe we'll find out with time. From while you're sitting enjoying this program, let me on your behalf thank my two guests this morning. Former chairman or immediate past vice chairman of Nigerian Bar Association, Clement Ugo Chukwemeka. Clement, you're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
And also a gentleman, I do not know, he was always looking smooth and packaged silkily. You know, I already address him as a gentleman. Ugo Agugam is also a lawyer. Both gentlemen are here in Abuja. This conversation will continue. On Monday, we'll be looking at something business. There was a conference in Cote d'Ivoire that seeks to help the Nigerian government institutions to function better and create a synergy between government policy and actions and larger economy. If we get the guests who have requested to join us here, that will be our issue on Monday. And then on Tuesday, we'll be looking at the Nigerian child as we celebrate this year's Children's Day. Are we doing good our Nigerian children to prepare them as the leaders of tomorrow, or are we destroying them and making them ineffective when their time comes? For this Friday, let me thank you for investing your time with us. As always, my name is Mwabu Zenjoko. Can I say from Abuja, good morning, have a cool day.